Hello and welcome to episode 139 of the Book Wars Pod. I'm Chris.
It's a trap!
I remember I said my name and then I remembered to stop. It's been... I would use the excuse that it's been 3 weeks, but when did I ever remember to stop beforehand?
I mean, it's close enough.
It's true. And honestly, it's a trap after me saying my name is apropos, to be sure. Anyway, I'm Chris. I am here, as always, with my wonderful co-hosts, Miranda and Rana, and with Kiersten, our wonderful producer. And it has been a while. Welcome back, everyone. Miranda's like, I've been here.
Oh my god! He admitted it!
So I've just been sitting at my computer every day after work waiting for somebody to pop into
Just hoping.
Just opening Squadcast.
It's like, I haven't read the book or anything. I'm just waiting.
You're just that meme of Pablo Escobar just like standing in an empty pool staring.
Yeah, in the pool.
Yeah.
I love it. Well, before we get started on the book I haven't said anything about, today we are starting our read of The Empire Strikes Back from a certain point of view. Very excited. Going to be doing this one a little bit differently, since there are 40 stories, which is a lot of stories. We're going to be kind of picking and choosing our favorites and the ones that we want to talk about. So if we don't hit your favorite story, your taste probably sucks. But no, it's fine. But yeah,
so we went from you like what you like to you suck if you don't agree with our favorites. Okay.
Yes.
Cool.
Correct.
This is where the fun
begins.
But before we start, what's everyone drinking?
I'll go, I guess. I made myself a little Moscow meal before this, except I don't have a fancy cup, a glass.
That sounds delicious.
It's a good choice.
I'm really jealous of that, actually.
I got, months ago, during the part of the pandemic where it was cold and we were hanging out in an open garage with our masks on in the middle of fucking winter.
Also New England every year. But...
There were a couple of times in a row where, like, we'd go over and do it, and then we'd all go home with something. And one of the times I was over there, my friend just, like, had fucking a case of vodka. And so we all just went home with a bottle. I was like, okay, I don't really drink a lot of vodka, but I'll take it.
That's a nice participation gift.
Yeah, it was free $99. Who says no?
I'm drinking something called Mimosa because it's supposed to be a Mother's Day beer. But this was absolutely beer that was free.
I have some opinions on that.
It being called Mimosa or a Mother's Day beer?
Yes.
Or something else.
The whole thing.
She said yes. This is from Goldwater Brewing Company in Arizona.
Also, wasn't someone drinking a Good Dad beer a couple of weeks ago?
The dad
or
beer?
Or the dad beer? Yeah.
Dad beer.
What's the difference between that and like a Mimosa beer?
It feels like it's like overly gendering this beer to be like, oh my god, it's like a mimosa. Women love that. They don't drink beer.
Yeah. I guess I didn't think of mimosas as being directly feminine, but yeah, I guess that makes sense if you think of it that way.
It is golden ale conditioned on fresh orange and grapefruit peel.
Does sound real good.
Honestly, that sounds great.
Sounds amazing on like a summer day. I thought,
y'all would like it. I did not think about that, but I think Rana makes a great point about dad beer, though.
Yeah.
Because same.
Yeah.
Dad's like beer.
Yeah, and it's like the barbecue. Dad's out back in his his denim shorts.
The can is like
his
Thank
Hawaiian
God my
shirt.
dad doesn't wear denim shorts.
I mean, my dad doesn't wear denim shorts
that is
either.
That is a beautiful.
It's got oranges on it.
Who's
anyway,
the
it says Happy Mother's
where does
Day
it come
on
from?
It. It's from Arizona. I got.
Oh, sorry,
anytime,
you said that. And I
it's
cut
okay.
You off.
Anytime it's from Scottsdale. Anytime two of my friends leave Portland to go find the sun, they bring me back beer from wherever they work because I watch their kitty cat now.
Oh,
it's nice. And then I just get free beer. I'm going to turn down so I don't again.
Yeah, I wondered if that was intentional or not. I was like, this is Super Troopers moment? Like, something's happening. I'll awkwardly go next now that I destroyed something. So I accidentally grabbed the wrong beer / wasn't paying attention to the beer that I grabbed and then remembered I was supposed to save this for like a hike, but it's fine. I'll get another one. I am drinking a Weldworks Brewing Pilsner. I have no idea how to say this. Urquell, Urqweld, Urquell, I assume. Or Urqweld, which I don't think is right.
Oh no, I've looked this up several times, and I still don't remember how to pronounce it because it's like the original Pilsner is the Pilsner Urquell.
Oh, yeah, I have no idea.
I
what's
figured
happening.
it must be because below it says Czech style Pilsner.
That's gonna be.
But it would be amazing in the summer, like when it's really warm, which is why I got this for like a hot hike in the summer, and then you have your little summit beer. This is from Greeley, Colorado, which I don't normally care about, except that it's where I got my vaccine and where Kate and Chris got their vaccines. So I guess now the other point for that town is... And does it describe the beer? It does not describe the beer at all. I think it just assumes that people know what a Pils, and that's it.
Yeah, it is.
So
It'll be a light
I'm enjoying
Pilsner
it.
too.
Yeah, it is. It's very... That's
it's
why I got
Czech.
it for like hiking, you know?
Yeah.
It's very like smooth, and I almost wish I had opened it at like 1 p.m. on a weekend in the summer.
You know, you
But
can
that's
buy
cool. It's
more of
delicious.
that.
Yes,
That's very Greeley
It's
that they're
true.
just like, we're not going to describe the beer. You either know it or you don't.
/ most craft beers.
That's I don't know. I feel like Greeley, Colorado has a very specific like that joke I made about your taste being bad if we don't talk about your story. Greeley would be serious about that.
Yeah, it's that and then cattle ranchers.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Those are the two options. What about you, Chris? What are you drinking?
Um,
Wow, I have only had one sip. I don't know why I can't say the word drinking.
I am just drinking a
Wow, I
blackberry
guess
white
it's a
claw
strong Pilsner.
because
Ooh,
we just still have
nice.
a bunch of drinks left over from having. But I'm a
I love
fan. I've ever
Claw.
had black.
Have you had the pineapple?
I have
That
had the
shit is
pineapple.
delicious.
I don't like pineapple generally, just like as a flavor.
What?
Yeah, I know.
Sorry, that was a little harsh.
No, it was
What?
warranted. Yeah, pineapple's just not my favorite. I couldn't tell you why. So generally,
It's such like a mellow flavor.
I know it is. Mango is very much my shit. Like if we're like going like tropical-ish flavors, like mango's very much my shit.
Mango.
Yeah, generally
White
if we
Claw
get a
is
box that
top
has
tier.
pineapple in it, Kate will just drink those. I will say though, when I was in Mexico a few years back, in the before times, and I had pineapple there, and like in multiple places where I had pineapple, it was like the most amazing like pineapple I've ever had. And I was like, well, if we had good shit like this in the States, maybe I would like pineapple. So
Yeah, I think pineapple is decent, but then when it's like fresh, perfectly ripe pineapple and it's like it like melts on your tongue / while it disintegrates your taste buds, that is amazing.
yeah, it's kind of like
a fun
avocados.
pineapple fact that I've never
The snack that fights
Yeah.
back.
I've never done my research on this, so I hope this is not a false fact. But what I've always heard is that people who harvest pineapples often lose their fingerprints while harvesting them because they're so acidic. That processing and harvesting, I think more processing, disintegrates your fingertips temporarily.
I have not heard that, but I would believe it
So.
because I know that I do know that they are very acidic, so I'd buy it.
I'm going to look it up now to see if that was a lie that I just told. Like, this is how
That would be-
rumors spread on social media.
You found it on the bottom of a
That's, like,
Snapple
not
cap
a bad
one
one
time.
to start.
My dad used to always say it. Yeah, friction ridges will become less distinct temporarily, but eventually they heal and appear the same as before.
All right,
Yeah.
good to know. If I'm about to commit a crime, eat some pineapple.
I think you'd have to
You
like,
have to like
process it for
soak your
days, but
fingies
yeah.
in it for a while.
it's hard work, Chris.
Listen, if I'm committing the
Chris
crime
is like,
anyway,
I'll just eat these snacks on the balcony. Typical white man thinks eating a snack will solve the problem.
Eating snacks solves a lot of problems. If we're going to be
Snacks do
honest,
solve a
It's
lot
true.
of my
As someone who
problems.
gets very hangry, someone who gets really hangry, I should have said thinks having a snack will help him get away with crime. I wasn't really thinking. Maybe
he's
I
going to
need a
do
snack.
that anyway.
It's true.
All right. So before we dive in to our reading, we are promoting a new organization for these episodes on Empire Strikes Back POV. And this week, or this month, or this period of time, we are encouraging people to donate to Islamic Relief USA. That's at irusa.org. They are doing a lot of relief work in getting food and water and shelter to people who are displaced and victims of state violence in Palestine. So really a great organization that we encourage people to give to if they can. And on that note, let's talk about other fascism.
Always fast.
Always
Now
fascism.
this is pod racing.
Now, this shows you where my head is at now. I'm just imagining like fucking Hayden Christensen, like dead voice being like, now this is fascism.
Maybe we'll get it in the Obi-Wan series.
We can only hope.
God, that would be great. You got to put in a special request for that shit.
Deb Chow
hate it when he does that.
famously listens to this podcast.
Someone has to get on Cameo.
Is that the
Absolutely.
thing where you...
That's what Twitter says. I don't actually know if it's real, but I assume based on the
I
strange clips
see
I've seen.
somebody, he's like, I'm on Cameo, and I'm a college basketball analyst. I'm sorry, I don't want you at my wedding or birthday party.
Yeah, maybe that'd be like a hate gift.
Put together the most awkward
Not
birthday
to-
party ever.
Not to jump in here, I wish I knew who she was talking about so I could absolutely pay this person $5 to tell her to go fuck herself.
Yeah, you better tell us the name now, Barb.
No, she's gonna.
Okay, we can do some research later. I'll figure this
We'll
out.
find some hockey player from like Pittsburgh or something. It'll be fine. I just know that you're a DC hockey fan. Whatever, it's fine. Don't worry about it. Anyway, let's talk about Eyes of the Empire, the first story in the book by Kiersten White. I have no transitions today, so I'm just gonna dive in. I feel like this is a very similar story to ones that we've gotten in various other novels and previous FACPOV editions. Did anyone else feel like that?
I wasn't focusing so much on that. There was kind of a weird vibe to me. Like, it was very much, like workplace story. You've got the one guy who's like got a stick up his ass, and this other guy washed out, but he's fun. And like she's doing her job, but like she's stuck in a like at a desk, just seeing all these cool places.
A space desk.
A space desk in space, seeing other places through droids that are also in space. And I'm like, do you want to go to Hoth? Like, I was like, is she like? I forget exactly what it was, but there was a part where I was like, is she just miserable at her fucking desk job?
I think to me it was less that she was sympathizing with the rebels and more that she was just like kind of oblivious to politics. Like one of those people who is just like all they want to do is travel and they have no bearing on like what's going on in the places they're traveling or like what went into creating the resorts they're staying in or stuff like that. And like she seemed very I can't think of the word, but it didn't seem like she had like the actual implications of all these various places in mind at all, other than, ooh, that looks awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I think we kind of saw it a little bit when she did find them on Hoth, but it was more like, look, I did it good because I'm a cog in the fascist machine.
Yeah, until the last like page or 3 paragraphs or so, and then which kind of surprised me. Like there was a reference earlier in that very chapter to someone saying, "Oh, well, we just kill people who are causing problems." So it's not like she didn't know people would die. But I guess seeing the image, like that probably happens in real life too. But I guess like seeing the actual devastation made a difference. I guess maybe because it's Hoth, they're still very intact.
Yeah,
Weeks later.
I think this goes to what I know I screamed about a lot on whatever the last Alphabet Squadron was. Okay, no one's gonna provide that title for me.
Was that Victory's Price?
Oh, it
No,
was.
that's
Sorry,
not
you
what
were looking for the title. It was Shadowfall.
Oh, right. The only like a name we should
Shadowfall, yes,
easily
thank you.
remember.
Where it's like, I mean, she is very kind of far away from the action, so to say. She's looking at the places, she's finding the places, she's doing the camera. She's not the one seeing the devastation. She's like, oh, look at this. And then, she moves on. The Empire goes in and kills everyone. Like, out of sight, out of mind.
As you said that, she really reminds me of the person who feels more upset about the dog dying in movies than about the people.
What if we're that person?
I mean, listen.
In movies, not in real life, just in movies.
No, that's fair. Let me use a different example. The person who like
No, it's okay. I suck.
no,
It's the person who's very concerned about loot.
Yeah, for sure.
like, and it's the
Yeah.
person who like you'll see like like information about like deforestation in I don't know like Southeast Asia or something, and you're like seeing how it's affecting like displacing millions of people, and then like one like environmental organization comes in and is like, but the elephants. And they take all the money.
Orangutans. Or like when that Amy Cooper incident happened last summer, and then there are people who were like, "Oh my god, but her dog!" And we were like, "Yeah, we know the dog is a problem, but the real problem is like,
Yeah, what about the fact
screaming
that
at
she
a black
tried to,
man and
like-
calling the police for literally no reason?"
Literally like threatened in as many words to call hit squad on this dude. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, it's and I do feel like this is like intentional of like the story. Like I'm at least I'm not shitting on like the story itself. I think it's very intentional that this person is supposed to be oblivious, but like I do feel, and again, not in a bad way, because there's no like limit on the number of like stories that we can have of like how there are no innocents under fascism, but like it is just another angle of there is no guilt-free role in the Empire. Like, you're contributing to the war machine in some way, shape, or form. There is no... Because that's the point of totalitarianism, is that there is no aspect of that society that is not related to war. I see Burb is quite literally licking her chops waiting to talk about this.
Oh, I don't have anything. I don't have a point. I'm just doing a hard agree here. It's like even, the babyest little paper pusher contributing to the cause. And I don't know. She got away with not being aware for this long. Tough shit now. You're still doing the whole fascism thing. Complicit in this, etc.
I think it's a common, I don't know what to call it, not like concept, but I guess a common theme in Star Wars literature. Like I think every piece of story, I don't know how words work, but every story that we've read so far, when you read, I mean, there are a couple people who just are, have blind ambition, but for the most part, a lot of people are roped in. It's sort of I think a good warning of how people get involved in these systems and how we ourselves as readers are involved in these systems without realizing, not to quite the same extent. We're not blowing up planets at this point, but, still like, I think that it's an overall theme in a lot of the stories that go into, well, what are the mindsets of the people working for the Empire, or, everyone involved in, my brain isn't working, but whatever the opposite of whoever they're fighting, Alphabet Squadron. It's not the Empire anymore. I don't remember what it's called.
Shadowing.
This is only 2 books ago. Well, I remember Shadowing, but isn't there like another, like whatever you would call the overall movement that Shadowing is?
Oh, I think just the Imperial
supporting?
Remnant.
Yeah, whatever that would be called. Never mind. You know what? I'm gonna stop talking. Let me go on mute real quick.
Yeah, but I mean, I do think that's an interesting point about like how do people get to the Empire? How do they become part of it? And again, this is something that we see here. We see a lot of places. Most people aren't like invested in, the ideology.
It's not just me.
The ideology of the Empire. Like it's very much the same fucking reason that people join the military here. It's get me the fuck off this planet. That sucks and I hate everything. And like, I'll get a job, shelter, stuff like that. It's, and we've seen before, like, even kind of leading up to and during the Galactic Civil War, people were like, oh, well, I'll like join the Empire and then I'll just like bounce to the rebels. And then they just stay with the Empire because it's like, this has come.
Yeah, it's very.
Eureka 12.
Yeah, I was going to say, just to jump ahead to the last story in this kind of segment that we read, which is Kendal by Charles Yu. It's big Eureka Quell vibes. Like, and big Kendal Ozzel vibes as well. Like, and he is at least aware. Like, he like dies being like, yeah, I was a piece of shit, and I killed a lot of people. Oh well.
Yeah, too late now.
Like, he doesn't necessarily feel bad. Like he's like, yeah, I'm sorry I had to do that, but it's not like he's like, I shouldn't have done that.
Yeah, it's not guilt necessarily. It's just like, oh, these are the things I did with my life.
Yeah, it's just like
Should've
a clear-eyed
listened to my wife.
accounting.
Yeah.
But yeah, those two stories do work well together in terms of like the theme of contributing to the Imperial war machine and like how everybody makes choices and as you said, Burb, like including Eureka. Like, I feel like Eureka was for a long time very much this person who was like the character in Eyes of the Empire, who was like, I'm just here so I don't get fined. Like just not doing things. She was ideological, just doing things because she's a person who needs structure. And that's what someone told her to do.
Yeah, it's, I didn't really think of these as companion pieces, but now that you say it, I'm very into the idea. Obviously because of the dichotomy between, like, the lady in Eyes of the Empire. Do we know?
It exists. I don't... Rana, you're muted, but I think you were telling us.
No, I wasn't. I was saying I think they tell us, but I don't remember it.
Okay, so that
I remember
girl-
them describing her hair for some reason. Let's see. Maela. I don't know how to pronounce it. Maela, Maela.
It's a Star Wars name. I'm sure they pronounce it three different ways in the course of the story.
They have no linguistics or like anything. So,
But, they're both cogs, but she's like a little, nut somewhere, just like holding something in place. And Ozzel is just like a big fucking crank or something, like actually putting everything into movement. That's a phrase that makes sense.
motion.
Thank you.
The tides have turned.
But it's, it's very much like, oh, he had a really big role in the Empire. He got personally force choked across space by Darth Vader, and she's just, again, living a shitty desk job life.
I don't know if we're diving into Kendal yet, but if we are, I just want to say that I love the portion where he's like, well, at least I can't second guess myself while I'm being choked out. It's like, oh, all right. That might be the most realistic thing I've ever read in Star Wars.
I love that story. Was very. Have either of you read any other work by Charles Yu? He has a couple other novels.
So.
And one of them that I've read is called How to Live Safely in a Science Fictional Universe. And it is very much that same tongue-in-cheek vibe. This was very much a story where, like, if you took his name off it, I would be able to tell you who wrote it, because it's like that very much that vibe of like, oh, I'm dying. That's kind of weird and somewhat upsetting. Like,
yeah. Well, I loved that there was like that balance of tongue-in-cheek and also a little bit of sadness, but especially I thought he really captured nostalgia well when he's like, I think personally for me, when I think about memories, I do think of smells and like food. And so for him to remember his mom's stew and like the crisp mountain air, I don't know, that was like maybe, I can't think of a word because Monday, but it was a very powerful thing, I think, in reading that. And even though it was Star Wars and I'm like, oh, whatever, this guy's being force choked by Darth Vader, it was also like a reminder of the ways that we call back memories and the ways that we'll remember things when we get older, and oh, we're gonna forget who you are, all those types of things. But yeah, I thought he did a good job of the jokey aspects, the Star Wars aspects, and the sad sort of human.
yeah, I'm totally with you. I really liked how you really got the sense of all that blurring together too. Like, even though like you're reading and obviously like words don't blur together, so it's kind of a challenging thing to do, but he really did that well.
Yeah, I think that's really evident when he's talking about the boy running up the mountain. And it's interesting, too, because it's like, is this just so long ago? Are you just, like, such a different person? Is it because you have no oxygen going to your brain? Like, just say, the boy is you. The call is coming from inside the Star Destroyer. It's fine.
Another aspect of his story, just like as you mentioned, the boy running up the hill, is when he was talking about his partner who left to join the rebels, and he didn't. Speaking of big Irika Quell vibes.
Yeah, she was like, let's go to rebellion.
Exactly like Erika's girlfriend said.
Not mom.
Not mom, famously.
Not mom, Burb. Of all the people to get that one mixed up.
That's homophobic.
I apologize to all Book Wars listeners. I'm learning. Let me get my notes app up real quick.
Excellent.
Yeah, I thought that part was wild. It's like, obviously, when folks are given, kind of some creatively build some backstories, I always really love seeing them because, I love world building, that kind of shit. But when his fiance was like, oh my, he could have joined the rebels. Like, it's something that I think I never think about a high-ranking Imperial officer and, like, think about them just defecting.
They all have the choice.
They do. But do they realize it? Think about.
No. Even as they watch their friends get, like, killed for minute mistakes, they're like, nah, it's cool. This is where I go.
Yeah.
I also... minute mistakes. He's like, well, they did jump out of hyperspace right over where we needed to be. It was not sneak. That was,
I like how he's like, he's not going to kill me over this, though. Oh, never mind. I can't see anything.
He's gonna let up soon. I'm just learning the lesson. I can come back from this.
Also, does Vader have like a, you know what I mean? I don't know if there's really a chill button on Vader. Like on that suit of buttons, none of them says chill now.
He has no blue buttons on there.
Yeah, exactly. They
Red
don't
buttons
turn
only.
blue with chill.
Yeah. No, when he was like, surely he's not going to kill me over this, I was like, have you already lost oxygen to your brain? Because that's a stupid thought. Just one last point on him, on Ozzel and Maela, to be fair, is it reminds me of in Battlefront 2, which, am I the only person of us three who's played that? Burb, did you ever play it or watch the cutscenes?
I've played through most of it.
Okay. The scene where the one scene with Luke Skywalker, the one level rather, where he's talking to Del, who is one of the members of Inferno Squad, obviously Imperial, and talking about like Del is talking about like, look, I know what the Empire is. Like, I'm not stupid, but like, what choice do I have? And Luke is just like, a choice to be better, and that's the choice that they all have. Like, that's the choice that Ozzel has, and he knew, like, and he doesn't, give himself an out. Like, he isn't like some people who are like, oh, I had no idea. Like, which is, not good, but it's at least honest. And Maella has that chance too. Like, there's plenty of ways to see the galaxy. Like, you could be a photojournalist. You could be fucking documentarian. Documentary maker? Documentarian? That doesn't seem like a word.
Sure.
It is.
I'll listen to it. I like it.
I'm 99% sure that's a real word.
We're gonna go with it. But yeah, and so it's that vibe of like at the root of Star Wars and at the root of life, like everything we do is a choice.
Well, I think that's like a common aspect of fantasy, right? Is reminding us all that it all comes down to choices, even when you think there isn't a choice. And as the reader, if you don't see the choice, is that a sign that, like, I don't know, I'm definitely a broken record today, but is that a sign that in your own life, like maybe before you, and we all want to think that we'd be on the right side of things, but then sometimes when we don't acknowledge that something is a choice, we're on the wrong side of it. I don't know. Miranda's making a lot of faces. I'm going to mute again.
Sorry, I'm just all good.
Oh, God, that's not good. Time to leave the podcast.
Rana's goal is for no one to react to anything that she says.
Ever. It's laughter, hatred. Those are the only two options.
I love it. All right,
See also George W. Bush foreign policy.
Hey. Oh,
All right. This is a foreign policy pod.
Speaking
Notably.
of strong feelings like laughter and hatred, let's talk about hunger.
That's my favorite one.
That's a big one.
Yeah, this is like
Sorry, I have to send a meme to the group chat about Bush and Star Wars. It's
never a
very
wrong
important.
time. Rana, I know this one. You said this one was your favorite. Do you want to kick us off?
Oh, God. Yeah, I mean, for a couple of reasons. I don't have, like, something planned in my head, so please excuse my word vomit. But, one, I always like stories. Well, God, this is a terrible thing to say. I don't think we should be comparing, like, vaguely animalistic life forms to indigenous people on Earth. But as a Native person, I do always like these stories where it's like a reminder that these things are happening in places where things belong, right? Where other life forms are already there, and that even if we are rooting for the rebels, they're still disrupting an entire system and an entire way of life. And even somewhere that we think of as desolate as Hoth, right? We see from this Wampa that they've actually really messed up his hunting grounds. They've messed up his ability to feed his family. So I liked it for that component. I also liked it because I just thought it was written in a way that really resonated. It was like, it wasn't overly simplistic. Like, I felt like the other story, which we won't get into in this, that was from a non-human point of view, was sort of overly simplistic. But in this instance, it was like, oh no, driven by family. There were a lot of the same themes, but it was done in a way that I felt was a little bit more powerful. So I thought that. There's a note here. I don't know who wrote it. And someone wrote, colonization is bad. I just want to say, thanks, whoever put that in there. Glad we can acknowledge that.
Yeah,
Thanks,
that was
White
me.
Man.
Like I like read the story.
Surprise.
I like read the story, and I'm like,
Now
well, I have
Chris gets
one
a promotion.
sentence. I get.
No, I'm just kidding.
I
But
get
yeah,
one
and I
cookie.
also just liked seeing, yes, I liked seeing the conflict with the rebels, and I always felt bad for the Wampa when Luke cuts off its arm. Like, I know you're supposed to be like, yeah, he's escaping, but I was always like, what's he gonna do now? It's like the same thing in Mos Eisley, but worse, because like those guys don't hunt with their arms. So yeah, at least this gave me a kind of satisfactory ending for the little Wampa, the giant Wampa.
Is it Daddy Wamp? New band name.
That's a great band name.
Well,
I had
listen,
a point and I forgot it.
I'll go. Yeah, I mean, I think for me, the crux of this is, in addition to everything that Rana said, is that it's the good guys that are driving them out. Like, it's not the Empire who are the bad guys in this story. The bad guys are the rebels and Luke Skywalker. And this story, like, it makes us ask the questions about, like, that we're not supposed to ask as part of Star Wars, and that's who are the rebels hurting as part of their action. And, like, obviously, like, war is bad. Like, war can be necessary, like, particularly revolutions against totalitarianism. Like, not necessarily a value judgment on the entire thing, but it is important to understand that, like, what we are getting from this story is that the Wampas are a sentient species, or at least somewhat close to it. And even though they're technologically underdeveloped because they live on a planet with no resources, like, they have family structures and thoughts and emotions and homes that they create, and they're a side note, and they're the enemy that is thrown in because Mark Hamill got in a motorcycle accident. And so it's always important to think about, what are all the aspects of this that are being impacted?
And I think it's also really good. I mean, obviously for all the reasons y'all just said about getting the story from the Wampas, certain point of but it's interesting to see, like you said, Chris, they are not Texas at all. It's, just like a very kind of basic, way of life for them. They live on fucking Hoth. It's them and the Tauntaun. What do the Tauntauns eat? Don't want to know.
A lichen and moss, right? Aren't they being fed lots of lichen and moss? Chain?
Chain! Food chain!
Insert Fleetwood Mac song here.
Yes. Yeah, but there's some, because of that and like going up against the rebels who just like, hey, we're here now. It's like, and we do see it in the narration. There's like a certain helplessness that Mr. Wampa has here. He's walking around. He's like, yeah, so like they're in some of our cave. I gotta get home, but they're gonna kill me because like I don't know what the fuck this is, but it's definitely a predator. And like he's just trying to go on and continue to live his life, but someone made that real hard.
And I think that's a very common like story, probably still now, for people who are displaced, especially when people colonize their area, of that quest to find your family again. I mean, you see that throughout history. I can only give you examples in this continent, but like there are many well-known Native people whose story before their intersection with Europeans that we read about is them trying to find their family after like Europeans came and wiped out their village and like sold their kids away to slavery in Europe, which was very common in like East Coast tribes in the 15 and 1600s. And I just think about things like that, of like that just sadness. I mean, I didn't think about that while I was reading it, but then as soon as we talk about it, I'm like, oh yeah, like it's kind of cute when it's the Wampa, but then it's real people. Not in the story, thankfully, thank God. That'd be awful, but we just get cute animals for our philosophy.
The story really reminds me of there's an episode in like one of the early of Clone Wars where they're on one of Pantora, and the Pantorans, who are the blue people, for any who don't have an encyclopedic memory of Star Wars alien species and yet still can't remember to do my chores, but they're trying to colonize
priorities.
They're trying to colonize one of their moons, and their people keep going missing. Their troops, I think. They're explorers, whatever they call them in the show. It's been a minute since I watched this episode.
Scouts.
But what it comes down to is that there is a species of, at first glance, they look very similar to Wampas. They look like kind of your stereotypical abominable snowmen, but then they actually like try to communicate with them and learn that they are like fully sentient, fully like developed, like have like a language that they are able to communicate in, like really no difference between them and any other like civilized group. And then there's the conflict in the story of, okay, do we go forward with trying to colonize this moon for Pantora and wiping them out and kind of ignore the fact that they're not mindless animals, or do we do the hard thing and actually try to communicate with them and work with them and get them into the Senate? And that is, I feel like that story was almost like George Lucas looking back at the Wampa storyline and being like, I could have done that better. Because it starts very similar, or if not could have done that better, at least acknowledging that there could have been another side to that.
Just to put us back on a happy note about the Wampas, once you said abominable snowman, I suddenly remembered that it is very hard for me to remember which one is Luke and the Wampa and which one is the abominable snowman. Like the scenes in the movies with
What?
Luke, and then
Are you talking about the Monsters Inc. abominable snowman? Or
yeah, I think the
snowman?
Monsters Inc. one.
I'm like, I don't
And
know
also,
another movie
well,
with you.
it's like Rudolph, maybe.
Oh yeah,
Or
we
not
watched that in
Rudolph.
music class in first grade, and that's
There's definitely.
I don't think I've ever seen Rudolph all the way through either, but I believe that there is an abominable snowman in that. I feel like they recently made a movie about the abominable snowman somewhere, like DreamWorks did something.
I think you're right. Yeah, I feel like I saw a preview for that one, like a family of them, and people are like running away from them.
Yeah, that
screaming or
feels
something.
right.
I don't know. Maybe this was a fever dream.
Yeah, I don't know. It's big, fuzzy white things in snowy caves. You
Indeed.
can see how I
Good
get
genre.
confused.
I really want a baby Wampa plush now, though. It's like a little fuzzy toy.
That does sound really cute.
Just get a like tiny fluffy dog and name it Wampa.
I was thinking that. I was like, are there any Wampas that have names? Like, it would be a good name for like a white Malamute or something.
Bill the Wampa.
I don't remember if there's a Wampa skit, but I just have to say that a lot of times when we read these, I'm reminded of the robot chicken versions of Star Wars. And I don't think there's one with a Wampa, but there are a lot of other times that I read it and my brain is like, did this really happen? No, that's robot chicken, right? I think that's good.
Yeah, definitely.
Just so you all know, that happens in my brain a lot now.
That's incredible.
You're very welcome.
Any further thoughts on Wampas? Wampa rights?
I just word vomited more thoughts than I thought I had come, so I'm good.
There you go. All right, let's talk about ion control. And one of my two favorite moments in this book, the other one is followed by the next story. They have a betting pool about whether or not Leia's going to shoot Han down. I never knew I needed that until I saw it.
I feel like I always wondered when they're like shouting at each other in the hallway and people are just trying to do their jobs walking through. I'm always like, how annoying must this be? So I know in the next story they bring that out again. But I loved the betting pool and everyone being like, I love that even like Riken was in
Yeah.
it and everyone was like, yeah, we got to know. Like, we think this person's, it's got to be this thing. Yeah. Fantastic component.
Yeah, I lost my mind when I got to that part. But it's also like, they're not wrong. They're trying to have a rebellion on Hoth, and Han and Leia are being like pissy teens. It's like, I like so, but I'm not gonna say so because I'm a 30-year-old man who can't talk about feelings.
How confusing it must be too for people who like see Leia as this great general and she's so like headstrong and has brilliant strategy and things, and then she's like, I'm just gonna yell at this guy instead of like interacting like a normal person.
Yeah, and they're all just so ready for it to like happen.
It really reminds me of, and this is going to be the second time in recent weeks that I've brought up Harry Potter, which I don't love about myself. But there's a moment in the...
It's not too late to
I know,
stop.
right? Well, there's just one very funny moment in the 7th book where it's like Ron and Hermione like finally kiss, and it's in like the middle of a fucking battle, and Harry's just like, is now the time? Like that's just like very much the vibe. And I love it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm here for it, honestly. But yeah, I agree also. Like, I think if you're on an ice planet and your only entertainment is like tauntauns and putting on another layer of clothes, I can see why you'd be like, hey, interpersonal drama. Let's go. Let's make some money.
Like, we're all stuck in this ice together.
At least we have a soap opera.
You want to start betting so that we can bet it on something else in a few weeks?
I just laughed out loud at putting on another layer of clothes being the only activity.
Honestly,
That's how you know I live in Colorado.
no, same. Like, just like the framing of that as like your only form of entertainment. It's like, what are you gonna do tonight? Oh man, I'm gonna put on another jacket.
Well, I don't know.
No,
I
no,
mean,
no,
when
you're
I was
perfect.
a kid,
It
sometimes
was
people
just
would put
funny.
on as many clothes as they could. Like, you know, if there was no internet or something, sometimes you'd put on like as many outfits as you could. Did no one else do this? Oh, okay. Told you Central Massachusetts is a different place. Well, it was a thing we did when the power went out, so
Fun.
I love that. Central Massachusetts is Hoth. You heard it here first.
it's not even that cold. I will say, and I'll get back on point after this, I promise, but a lot of the times that they were all complaining about Hoth being so cold, I was like, oh my God, just shut up. Like, have some tea and enjoy the beautiful scenery. And then I was like, oh, this is the space equivalent of my mom being like, put on a second pair of socks. We're not turning on the heat.
So good.
Now you have a glimpse into my life, and I will let us get back on track.
Thank you.
I
That's
love
lovely.
it. Now I'm finally understanding why 3PO's so bitter. He can't put on more clothes. Doesn't help him.
Imagine him with a fashionable scarf. He already has the crop top. Like,
He
it
does.
could work.
It's true. Scarf and a crop top. That's a look for sure.
Listen, it's the latest fashion on Hoth.
Indeed. I had some other stuff I wanted to talk about with this story, but it's very much kind of in concert with the first story that we're going to read in the next section, which is Against All Odds. So I might save it unless y'all want to talk about kind of this.
I
like-
loved this one.
Oh, go for it then. Let's do it.
I'm gay.
End of.
Oh, are we
comment.
talking about the next one now?
Oh, which one are we talking about that you're gay for?
Oh, Ion Control, not
Okay.
the one with gay men. I love it.
Oh, okay.
I love it.
You as a
They
woman
make
are
me
not
very
gay for gay
happy.
men.
That is correct. But it's like she's a very like it's not stoic per se, but it kind of is. She's very like, well shit, we gotta do this and I'm nervous, but I'm gonna be a boss ass bitch about it. Go pew pew and hit the Star Destroyer.
It's almost.
I like that she...
No, you go, Rana.
Sorry, I was just shit talking as always. I was just going to say I like that she's doing trigonometry to figure that out. I was like, give me the little tiny details about math, and please.
Like, so fast,
I
too.
like it.
It's very fast math. Also, I love that she was from Chandrilla. Like, you know, that's one of those planets where I'm just like, oh, Mothma. Because, you know, a lot of the folks that we see in the rebellion are just like kind of run-of-the-mill rebels, right? A ton of planets you've never heard of. And then it's like, yeah, we thought Mon Mothma was cool, so we were like, hell yeah, let's go.
Yeah,
She got on
that was an awesome
flight.
little detail. I think she's almost like pessimistic, not even just stoic, like
Yeah.
resigned almost.
But resigned without giving up on her job.
Yes.
Like, she's resigned that she's probably gonna die and that this is not gonna go well, but she's also like, well, that means I go out shooting. Let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's like, I always just kind of assumed I'd die with this headset on, but I guess I'm escaping. Like, she's, you know, very all in for her job, right? Like, well, it was very funny. Like, you know, the place crashes in, and she, like, goes to the next computer to see if that one's working. She keeps kind of doing the same thing. Leia walks in. She is doing it, too. They're just like, how do we continue to fight? And Han Solo runs and go, computers still work.
Women get shit done.
Pew, pew.
Yeah, this character is like apparently like one of those like that like had a name back in the like 70s when this was or 80s when movie was released, and so like people like developed elaborate headcanons about them, and I don't know that shit. Like I don't know what any of these characters' names are until reading this, and so I just like I found it interesting because I was talking to a couple people in the Tashi Slack when this book first came out about this story, and one of them said that like, yeah, Torrin Farr was always my favorite because, you know, she was just like so competent and cool and collected, and I was like, I didn't even know she had a name, so that's awesome.
Women in Star Wars with a name?
In my headcanon, she's gay. But I'm pretty.
As long as she doesn't die of sadness, I'm cool with her being in.
I was really glad her sister made it. I would have been sad if her sister hadn't made it.
Yeah.
That was going to be real sad. Mm-hmm. But speaking of gay,
Speaking of gay,
there are more gays. We love it.
I just love Chase Wilsore so much. I am Chase
Soft
Wilsore.
boy.
He's such a sad sack, and I love him.
He's like, I really want to go do, you know, my sentry duty. But I got kicked out of being a person who goes outside at any time because I can't super walk straight and I can't shoot. I tripped over myself. I failed basic training 6 times.
And he destroyed something when he tripped over himself during a test. Makes me feel much better about myself.
He's like, I just peel potatoes and take coffee to my boyfriend.
I just like
And read books.
he looks in the mirror every morning and says, I am a valuable member of the rebellion.
Do you know who he should be friends with? He should be friends with Will. And I know the timeline doesn't add up, but he and Will would be good friends. They could, you know, he could give him the self-help book so he wouldn't have to send voice memos to people who he shouldn't be sending voice memos to. And they could be like buddies or more than buddies. They could be more than buddies. It's cool.
New headcanons that after the war, Will and Chase.
Go back to home
Yes.
and have a little family.
Yeah, I do love that,
Love
like,
it.
when he's giving himself this pep talk in the morning, like, obviously he does it every day, but everybody else is just like, well, please shut the fuck up and go peel your potatoes.
It is kind of ludicrous that like people are dying and like doing all these intense things, and then the guy who peels the potatoes is like, I'm valuable, I'm brave, I'm doing a really important thing.
It's so good.
But I mean, it's true. Like, you
he-
can't have people do cool stuff if you don't eat potatoes.
And
so.
he is doing good. He saved a bunch
Yeah.
of people. He knows all the secret passageways.
He helped drill the passageways,
And then
map
they
them
asked
out.
him to stop.
When there's a different story, and he's like, "Oh, a bunch of people died making those passageways." I was like, "Was that our friend Chase who made that happen?"
But then like this one, like to kind of bring back the point that you were saying before, Rana, when they're arguing in the hallway and he's like, not all of us can just flirt in a hallway all day, Han.
I like when he refers to them as like attractive people who have to put their problems on everyone else. I was like, "Oh yeah, we've all known those people."
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
so
hot people
perfect.
can get away with anything. It's very funny.
Just so good.
But I also love that we have a story for that guy. Like,
I care much
How
more
fun.
about him.
That is my favorite thing.
You go.
Oh no, I was just going to say that's my favorite thing about these stories. Like, I know I keep talking about wanting to do like a live tweet rewatch of all the movies, and I'm definitely going to be watching that like, hey, that's Chase Wilsore.
Absolutely.
Man, he's got to go get that coffee.
Yes.
he's the best barista in the whole station.
I also just loved
What were you going to say, Chris? Sorry, I
No,
interrupted
I was just gonna say I also just loved how what's his boyfriend's name? Jordan. Jordan's like, you managed to get me hot coffee from all the way across the base. How do you even do that? So sad. Such a sad sack. I love
It's
him
very
so much.
I love-
sweet, though.
It's so sweet.
If I could make fun of Burb for a second, I feel like major Burb vibes and him saying, like, is this flirting? When the guy's literally, like, rubbing his shoulders and being like, you're so great. Like, that's Burb in our group chat. Like, I think this person, no, they weren't flirting. Like, no, she was flirting. It's okay. Jordan was also flirting.
Yeah, but then he does that. He's like, oh, I have to stop flirting. Or then, like, somebody yells, like, hey, Jordan, stop flirting. And, oh, was that it? Does he want to? And then he goes to Han and Leia, like, stop it. We also have a betting pool for this.
Yes.
So good. I do love, like, I love many parts of this story, but, like, it's kind of a good companion to, or, like, not companion, but, like, I can't think of the word, but it's like the opposite of Eyes of the Empire, because, like, that one, the whole point was, like, that there's no job under fascism that's too small to be bad, that's too small to, like, free you from guilt. And this one's like the opposite. It's like there's no job in the rebellion that is worthless, because, like, he feels worthless, but then he saves multiple people because of the knowledge that he got doing his job as a coffee runner. I don't know. I just love that message. It's a nice contrast. That's the word I was looking for before. It's a nice contrast between the rebellion and the Empire.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same. I mean, like, functionally, yeah, it's different because, like, fascism, famously bad.
Big if true.
But it's
Despite what America will tell you in 2021.
it's the same lesson. It's like, no matter how small your role is, you have an impact. Plus, he gets to give coffee to his boyfriend.
Yep. All right, well, that feels like a much better place to end it. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Book Wars Pod. Next week, we're going to be continuing with our read of The Empire Strikes Back from a certain point of view. Going to be reading Against All Odds through the Final Order. In the meantime, hit us up on... Kiersten is just pointing to a whiteboard that says Star Wars. That's her contribution right now.
If you weren't sure where we are, when and where are we?
Star Wars.
So good. In the meantime, if you are just misguided and want to talk to us more, you can find us on Twitter, Instagram at BookWarsPod, on the Tashi Station Radio Patreon as always, and you can email us bookwarspod@gmail.com. And if you have the means and are so inclined to do so, please do donate to Islamic Relief USA at irusa.org. And then, after that, if you have some left over and you want to support us, you can donate to the Tashi Station Radio Patreon and give us coffee at ko-fi.com/bookwarspod. Those are great ways to help us cover our hosting and production costs. And we will continue to keep the great Argos, Cerberus, Jasper, Orca, and Tony content coming. Some excellent Jasper content on the gram today as we are recording. So thanks. Shout out to Burb for posting and Kiersten for getting that wonderful candid shot. Our theme song is Whiz Bang by Poddington Bear. Our logo and artwork are by Joe Butera Design, and our audio and production are done by our very own Kiersten McDonald. I am Chris for Rana, Miranda, Kiersten, and Kate. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll talk to you next week.
Oh my God! He admitted it!
Oh, nice.
You sound so depressed.
I'm not.